Getting involved with meditation can be a fascinating experience, and one which I do strongly recommend to anybody out there who has even the remotest curiosity of the experience. Yes, admittedly, you are taking a bit of time out of your day to be with yourself, and some people who don't fully understand what you're trying to achieve may assume that you are being absorbed in yourself to the point of being selfish. I don't see it that way. The experience of meditation for me has been quite enlightening. You do get, with the passage of time, and of course elaborated upon with further forms of study outside of the world of meditation and the world of books on spirituality, but other books relating to altered states of consciousness, brainwave frequencies and the like. You do get a real, almost intimate experience of the complexities that are happening inside your body and inside your brain at any one particular time, but in a very hands-on way. I mean, going through the process of entering into meditation in its own right can be fascinating. Initially, whilst you're sitting or lying down in your comfortable meditation position, you may be thinking to yourself, this is a bit silly. Okay, you may be thinking, I am looking a bit silly because I'm sitting bolt upright with my eyes closed, for instance. But you do the meditation alone, in your own room or in your own house, when there's no one who's going to interfere or even see you. So essentially, you can, when you're starting this for the first time, realize how overly self-conscious you are when you're at home. And then you can, through introspection, try and work out in what ways that might overlap with your conduct when you're in the outer world, and work out when it's appropriate to be that kind of self-conscious and when it's not appropriate. Then you can use that, your understanding of that particular issue as part of your own personal and self-development. It's actually quite a fascinating experience during the very first few times. Then, of course, there's the actual exercise, because keeping your mind on a meditation or a concept or an image, for instance, can be very difficult or frustrating, because you won't be able to do it. Not initially, but with practice, your brain starts to learn the exercise. It's just like every other form of exercise, whether let's say you're taken to a new sport, you just bought yourself an air rifle for the first time, and you're learning how to shoot. You may have read a few books on the right stance to take, putting 60% of your weight on your leading foot, the way you should be holding the gun against your shoulders, and all the rest of that, proper use of the sights, what things you should be focusing your eyes on. And initially, getting all these things coordinated might seem a bit like rubbing your stomach whilst patting your head, or vice versa. And it's only something which you can get used to with the passage of time. And the more practice you do, you eventually reach a point whereby it seems to click, it gets easier. And when that moment comes, that's when your brain has actually adjusted. Okay, new brain cells have been grown. Certain pathways within your own head have grown stronger and more resilient for the particular exercise in question. Now, the same is true of meditation, but when you're doing it with meditation, you're doing it purely with things of a non-physical nature. So it'll be the forms of visualization that you're doing. It'll be the mantras and the energy, so to speak, of the mantra or visualization. Now, the word energy in this particular case refers to mood, thought, feeling, emotion, character, personality, and so on and so forth. Does it necessarily mean to say that there is some kind of spiritual energy component to the exercise itself? Bottom line, no. Or should we be a little more honest and say, bottom line, we don't know 100%. But whilst you're going through this experience, you observe yourself whilst you're concentrating. You observe yourself when the mind wanders spontaneously. And you start to get closer to understanding yourself from the inside. There are various specific forms of self-developmental type exercises which are based upon meditation. Some involve the development of acceptance. Some involve dealing with a particular issue. Sports scientists themselves believe that they can help the body to heal after an injury with the help of hypnotherapy or meditation geared towards the injury and the location within the body that that injury is. And as such, the changes which happen don't just necessarily operate within your own head. We're not just talking about something which has a purely psychological component. Oh, well, after all, what essentially is your mind from the point of a physical reductionist, apart from the product of your own brain? And if you train your brain, then you're training also your mind, your personality, and your body. But this psychological exercise extends itself through the psychosomatic effect into whichever parts of the body you are doing your concentration upon. So it can be a very interesting learning experience when you realize that certain forms of fear or anxiety regarding parts of the body may be very subtly affecting the performance of that particular part of the body. But when I say subtly, I mean subtly. It's not something you should be worrying about unduly. That's why we move into the subject of speculation rather than necessarily empiricism. But changing yourself from the inside outwards is part of what meditation can be really about.